I want to make this video. Obviously, the lights are off in my car, so just listen to it like a podcast or whatever. But I want to make this video because I can't stop thinking about it, where if you complain, you stay the same. Now, the reason I think about this is because I had a pretty heated conversation with clients. Not clients, but two clients recently. And I'm one of those coaches where, like, I don't let you off the hook with, like, BS answers. Like, if you're like, oh, man, I don't want to go to the gym. And I'm like, why? You're like, oh, man, I'm just not feeling it. Why aren't you feeling it? And I, like, put the pressure on because I want you guys to help yourself change your life on top of the blueprint that I give you guys. But I'm going to be honest. Some of you guys just don't actually want it. Like, you want it enough to where you complain because you're hoping that somebody validates you, like your mom or your sister or your friend or your coworker. Like, yeah, man, I know, like, it is hard being fat. Like, it's so hard. Like, you know, nobody understands. Nobody gets it. And you just want pity rather than actually changing, right? And I've had these conversations because, like, I've had people tell me, man, you just don't get it. You don't understand how it feels to, like, you know, having an eating disorder or have, you know, an addiction to food. But it's like, at the end of the day, what's the alternative? Like, what's the alternative? You just tell people, oh, I have an addiction to food, and you stay fat as fuck? You just say you have an addiction to food, and you just continue eating fucking Reese's and Kit Kats and Pringles and all these other foods that keep you insecure, to where your wife doesn't find you attractive because you put on 60 pounds in the relationship in the past 10 years, 5 years. Your kids don't look up to you because they're looking at dudes on screens like Chris Hemsworth who have jacked muscles, and they were like, oh, I want to be built like that. Why can't that be you? Because I'm addicted to food. What are you going to do about it? Complain that you have a food addiction? Complain that you have cravings? Complain that you have an eating disorder? Or are you going to put the work in? Because every single person, there's somebody in this world that has struggled with the same exact things and close to the same situation as you, who has overcome it. You're not the only person who goes through these things. And when people are like, you don't understand what it's like to binge eat due to depression. Dog, I've been depressed. I've been anxious. I've literally had a blade to my wrist about to take my life. And I've literally, the day that my dad passed away, I got my ass in the gym about 8 hours after finding out. And that's why I get results. Most people who complain and stay the same, who have struggled off and on for 5+ years, you know what they do in that situation? They use that as a reason to fucking binge eat donuts because they're emotional, and they emotionally binge eat. How about you emotionally get your ass in the gym and you start putting the work in? And, like, I'm bringing the heat on you guys because it's, like, more and more relevant. Because I've talked to a lot of more people, because this is usually the time of year where people come and reach out to me and they're like, yo, I need some help. And I'm like, all right, awesome, here's a free consultation. And they're like, well, you know, do I have to get on the phone? Like, that's very uncomfortable. Like, the reason why you are fat right now is because you're uncomfortable. Oh man, do I have to get started right now? Like, can I just get a trial period? The reason you want a trial period is because you don't think that you can actually show up and consistently show up and get results, because you already don't think you're going to follow through, and you're scared of wasting money through the coaching program. Fuck no, there's not a trial period. The trial period is the past 5 years where you looked in the mirror and you're up 5 pounds every fucking month. That's the trial period. Like, I want you guys to understand that if you complain, there are two options. You complain. This guy just almost blinded me. Then I realized it's LEDs. But if you complain, you stay fat. If you shut your mouth and you go to the gym and you eat less calories and you walk more steps and you lift 3 to 5 days a week, you are no longer fat. Those are your only two options. Or you take something like Ozempic and then you ruin your health and then you get fat again, except it's harder to lose it naturally because you fucked up your health. Those are your two options. I guess 3 options. You complain, you stay fat, and then you look for people to feel bad for you, and that life is a miserable one. Or you walk more, you put the work in, you don't eat like an asshole, or you take Ozempic or another weight loss, or you do weight loss surgery. And the thing with weight loss surgery is is you either shrink your stomach to where you literally physically can't eat, and then you ruin your health for the rest of your life because you want to be lazy, or you take a weight loss drug, right? It's funny how people are against freaking meth and drugs like that, but they'll happily stick a needle to lose weight. Like, that's still a drug, right? People who take drugs to lose weight will like be like, oh, this dude's on steroids. Like, that's cheating, but you'll stick a needle to lose weight. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you're literally doing drugs still, but it's convenient for you, right? And then that ruins your life for the rest of your life. Like, you guys either make a change or just stop complaining. Like, you don't have to make a change. Just don't complain to people about you being insecure and out of weight, you know, overweight and out of shape and stuff like that, because nobody really wants to hear it. And the whole reason I'm making this video is not to rant, all right? I'm not. I don't really care. The reason I'm making this video is because I'm sick and tired of hearing people complain, and then me as a coach, me try to help them, and then they always have a fucking reason on why they can't do it or they can't get help. Like, bro, I've coached almost 500 clients. If I can't help you, obviously, if you have freaking, I got a dude who he was like, man, I have brain damage, can you help me fix my balance? No, I can't. Like, obviously, you know, that's a special case. But like, if you're like, oh man, I just need to lose 30 pounds. If I can help 500 clients almost, I can help you. But inevitably, there's always, out of the 500, there's the 20 or 30 who come in the program and continue complaining, and then they don't follow the program the exact way I lay it out, and so they don't get results. I had a client the other day. He was like 20 days in, and I'm like, yo, you're missing this thing. So we set up a call, and I'm like, yeah, do this. He's like, yeah, man, I know that's a problem. Like, I know I need to do this. I'm like, why don't you just do it? He's like, yeah, man, it's just, and it was just tracking his lifts. Like, in my app, you track. And in between your sets, there's a timer. So in between the sets, I tell all my clients, track as you go along. So if you do 50 pounds for 6 on dumbbell incline press with your 2-minute rest, when you're resting for 2 minutes, track that 50 pounds for 6. He's like, yeah, man, I know I should be doing that. And I'm like, why aren't you doing that then? Why are you not doing that? If you know you're supposed to, he's like, yeah, man, I worked with a coach in the past and he told me the same thing. So why aren't you doing that? I know I should be just tracking my calories and stuff, but I'm just not. If you have all the tools to be successful and you're not doing it, you don't deserve to be successful. So out of the 500, there's inevitably the 20 to 40 or 30 clients that I've coached that are just accepting. Maybe you're not accepting it, but you're just going to be a loser because you don't know how to follow directions. Do this and you get this result, or do this and you get that result. There's no middle ground. And then there's the guys who come into the program, they're like, man, I paid you X amount, and now I feel like I wasted money because, I'm just not motivated to follow the program. I'm like, so fucking be disciplined and follow the program. You don't have to waste money. So, like, you have a choice in life. That's the whole reason I'm making this video. It's because you have a choice. You have a choice to complain and be a loser and be fat and be insecure like 90% of other people. Or you have the choice to do the things that you already know you need to do. Get off the couch, put the Pringles down, eat steak and rice for your meal instead of Pringles and fucking ice cream, and make something happen of yourself. Because I can tell you, if you're not proud of yourself, your wife's not proud of you, your son's not proud of you, in the aspect that you're not proud of. Now, if you're working 12 hours a day and your wife's like, yeah, that's my man, like he works 12 hours a day, but at the end of the day, that might attract them. But if you're 300 pounds with a beer belly and flaps under your chest fat, your wife's not looking at you and being like, ah, man, that's my man. No, she's like, my man works really hard. But what happens whenever you injure yourself and you can't work as hard anymore? Is she still going to be attracted to you based on the way that you look and the way that you carry yourself and the way that you look in your clothes? If the answer is no, you got some fucking work to do. Because so many of you guys focus on working at your career and leveling up in your career, but then you just let yourself live in a pile of shit because you're 300 pounds. Like, if you're happy being 300 pounds, this message isn't for you. All right? If you're happy and you don't care what other people think, then I don't care. Look, dude, I just want you guys to be happy and confident And if you're not happy and confident, fucking do something about it and quit complaining. But if you're not complaining and you're happy, I've met guys, 300 pounds, they're laughing about their beer belly and they don't give a shit. Because they make $200,000 a year working blue collar because I live in Mississippi. They don't want to go to the gym. They're happy. I'm not talking to those guys. I'm talking to those guys who complain constantly and they just want somebody to feel bad for them and then they don't do anything about it. That's who I'm talking about. Speaking of meal prep, I'm outside Aldi's. I'm about to go get my rice and I'm about to go freaking cook my rice up. And I know this video is going to turn off a lot of people, but it's just got to be said. Because I come from a rough background, all right? My dad was a blue-collar worker. He freaking died of a heart attack after having 2 brain surgeries, 30 days in the ICU. And the number one thing he told me is never complain. If you do complain, well, never complain. But if you have a problem to complain about, either do something about it or shut up. And so now that I'm a coach for people all over the world, it just blows my mind how many people, 28, 30, 50 years old, are still complaining. Either do something about it or don't complain about it and just live with it. Now, if you can't do anything about it, still don't complain about it because there's nothing you can do about it. And learn to live with it. Those are your 2 options. And don't do Ozempic because that's still a drug and drugs are bad. We learned this in school. Alright? So now I'm going to go get my meal prep. I'm going to cook. I got client programs to do. I just had a client text me halfway through this video saying how the number one thing that he learned was how to eat nutrition, and now he's down freaking 2 pounds in the first 2 weeks of the program. So we're all winning, but I want you guys to win with me, and sometimes that takes me sitting in my car at night after a crazy arm workout, screaming at myself at my phone to get it across to you guys. Let's go. Let's change your life. Time to get my meal prep. Peace.